My, oh my, look at everybody in the chat. We are already at 89, 90 folks joining us for Gliding into the New Year. Hey, everybody. I'm Andy from Glide, and welcome to our third annual Gliding into the New Year. Now, this has become a little bit of a tradition for us over these last few years to get together and look back at highlights of the past 12 months and then look ahead at what's on the horizon for Glide. So whether you are joining us here on the Glide website or from LinkedIn, you can give us a little hello in the chat. Let us know what you're most excited about for 2025. Now, as for questions, you can drop your questions into the sidebar here on the chat if you're on the Glide website. And if you are watching from LinkedIn, drop your questions directly into the chat there, and we'll make sure we don't miss anything. So even if we don't get to your question during this session, we'll have it so we can get back to it through the community, through the blog, and through other channels. Now, our CEO, David Siegel, is going to be joining us in just a moment. But first, we wanted to start with something a little bit special, a look back at some of the customers and partners that we've been working with over the past year. So let's kick off.
Hello, my name is Oscar Brooks.
Robin,
Adam Wingfield,
Jack Foley,
Javier Aguilera,
Charlie Melendez,
And I am the founder of V88.
Built 360 is my commercial contracting business.
I'm the founder of Innovative Logistics Group.
I'm the Director of Strategic Initiatives for Mint Leads.
I had the pleasure and the opportunity to join CPF Floors.
My business is called Optimize IS.
We were able to get the initial product up and running to an MVP stage in about 3 months.
A 25-day project for us is 3 to 6 months minimum for a traditional developer.
The amount of time that it saves is just incredible.
It's like saving that amount of time allowed us to basically double the amount of calls we could put on our salespeople's calendars.
We're seeing that save time for everybody in the process.
So Glide was this, accolade solution that in a matter of, 60 days, we were able to transform how my sales organization was operating. The best story is that we are creating cost-saving opportunities on the back end from the finance and administrative operations standpoint.
It saves on costs for clients.
We've really been scaling like crazy.
In every case, if you are saving somebody 30 minutes per day and you multiply that up across a 12-month period relative to their salary, suddenly you're actually almost certainly saving what could be thousands of dollars.
It's reduced our overall downtime and our lead time on our processes by at least 25 to 30%. Because
it really allowed us to scale about 1,500% in the last year and a half, which is insane.
In total, we have had hundreds of customers. We've built at least 300. Some of those might be 5 or 6 or even 10 apps for a single customer.
In Fast Tractor today, see that 8 months, we have processed a shy amount of more than $7 million worth of transactions, 10,000 purchase order on a daily basis, minimum disruption.
We're already winning with the technology that we have.
Prior Glide, it was chaos.
Was so exciting to me.
A lot of companies that are our size or even larger just don't have dashboards like we do.
Our efficiency has improved, our accuracy has improved, and overall it has improved our level of customer service to the end user.
It makes you look like a superstar to these clients.
Get your software working how you work and stop working how your software works.
We have a better understanding today than we did yesterday of what we need to do tomorrow.
You're not fit into a box of here's a template and here's how you use Glide, and you have to fit your business into our schema. The opposite. It's the sky's the limit.
Whoa. Oh, Andy, I'm not hearing you.
Whoops. Hey, David.
I
was just saying.
I don't need audio. I could just look at
We don't need audio. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, that just reminds me of, I think when we're building Glide, we're heads down, so focused on all the work that we do here. And the video reminded me of like when we get together in person at our meetups and have these people that are like so passionate, and they show you, I like some of those customers I even met in person, I saw their app on their phone, they're scrolling through and showing like how it changed their business. It's every time it just gets me.
You've been doing a lot of that this year, huh? With the seeing customers and users in person.
Yeah, I did the CEO Roadshow this year, and I think I made it to 6 or 7 customers like on site in person at their business, and I saw even more at our events. Yeah, it's really special, and I know that we're going to talk about some of those visits today.
Yeah, exactly. And so we're doing something a little bit different from our last couple of gliding into the New Year's. So, David, you've been doing a lot of demos over the past year as well. So you've been seeing a lot of our users, our customers. You've been doing a lot of demos. And I feel like what you've prepared for us is a nice little mashup of those two things.
Yeah. So yeah, usually you'll find me cozily tucked away in a study with a roaring fire behind me and guiding us through a look back over the current year and then a look ahead. But this week, due to some technical glitches, I am coming to you from a WeWork, and we're about to roll something we recorded this morning that will take you through all of that.
Yeah, so we'll share that update and then stick around for the Q&A afterwards. And in the meantime, we will be in the chat. So drop your questions, drop your comments. We're watching, listening while we roll the clip.
Let's go.
All right, folks.
Hey everyone, I'm coming to you quasi-live from the woods of Minnesota, where famously all the women are strong, all the men are good looking, and all the children are above average. But the Wi-Fi is not always entirely reliable, so let's get going. Right at the end of last year, I announced that I was doing a CEO Roadshow. I wanted to visit our customers in person to see how they were using Glide and how we could make it better. This was inspired by coming out of COVID. We went on site with the PGA at their first international tournament after the pandemic to see how they were organizing 40,000 fans using Glide apps. What we saw on site totally shocked us. We saw them changing the apps in real time as their requirements changed. We even saw them creating whole new software as new problems and opportunities arose on site. We knew Glide was the fastest way to make software of this kind, but we didn't realize that people would make software just in time on site as a business was evolving. So I want to repeat this experience. I scheduled many customer visits over the year. I want to share some of them with you now. So I just got back maybe 6 weeks ago from visiting Hunter Douglas in Rosarito, Mexico. If you have windows in your home, you probably cover them with blinds or other window furnishings manufactured by Hunter Douglas. They started using Glide to monitor the performance of their manufacturing lines. Before Glide, they had a one-day delay before they could get reports about their production against goals and what issues are being encountered on the production floor. Now they get this on an hourly basis at the end of every shift with visibility of managers around the globe as to what's going on with production. They're even using Glide AI to translate the comments that are entered in Spanish on the manufacturing floor into summaries in English so that managers internationally can more readily read this information and give feedback. And they expanded from this first use case, which we got to see in person, to about 8 other critical apps that are running their operations and some non-critical apps for managing things like their team, their football team and their events for team morale. I visited Westland Real Estate Management in Los Angeles. They manage tens of thousands of residential units in Los Angeles and Las Vegas and beyond. And the apps are primarily built by their CTO, Shawnee. Shout out to Shawnee. I think you're on the call today. They've basically built a custom operating system for property management with 23 apps in active use. They're one of our most deeply adopted customers on top of Glide. And basically every time I talked to Shawnee, they found some other use case to build on Glide. I didn't visit Sotheby's, but they're a longtime customer who built a really incredible new portal for private property listings for their most high value clients. And this made me really proud because we were able to meet the bar in terms of client experience that they're famous for offering to their clients with the software that we were able to help provide for them. This is an example. I love when this happens when we have a mutual customer. A mutual customer is a Glide customer who has a product or service that we at Glide also use or purchase. So Health Aid Kombucha, I see it every time I go to my local grocery store, and I've enjoyed it many times. We got to go on site to their distribution facility in Los Angeles, where they're moving hundreds of thousands of servings of kombucha on and off of trucks. And I got to see how they were replacing a pen and paper process with a real-time, fully digital solution on Glide. I'm really excited for the additional use cases that we're going to help them with next in manufacturing. Another mutual customer, Illy Coffee, just got started on Glide this year. Their wholesale reordering process works by retailers will download a spreadsheet template, fill out how many units of the different products that they want to purchase, and they email this spreadsheet. And our partner at Illy, Dashley, she has to manage all these spreadsheets, update the templates when prices change. She really wanted something that would stay more up to date, break less often, and also be mobile compatible so customers could order from mobile. Now they have a fully digital solution on Glide. My favorite new thing is they were able to show customers their order history and just add a reorder button. So if you're ordering wholesale from Illy, you could see your order history and you can just say, I want to make this order again. Before you would have to sort of dig through your email to find a spreadsheet that you'd emailed months ago. And there are many customers at Glide that are confidential. These are larger companies where they say their standard protocol is not to let us tell them too many details about their business, especially because software built on Glide is often for internal use. But last week, we closed a large deal, $250,000 for a Fortune 100 company building sales enablement software on Glide. So if you think that no code is just for small businesses, it's important to recognize that the most well-resourced and successful companies in the world value very highly Glide's ability to build quality, high-performance, beautiful, flexible, custom software quickly. And they pay a premium for it. We have customers, I visited other customers as well. We have customers basically of every company size and every industry you can imagine. We're working with Manfield Paris right now on a new AI process to help the digitization of their design files. So I'm really looking forward to getting in person with them next year. Odin Fashion in New York City, shout out to Alfred. It was really great to visit their headquarters there and see their showroom. Our experts are also developing their businesses at a breakneck pace. So this year we exploded to 5,000 registered experts. Over 250 have been certified at all levels of Glide certification. And recently we finished our first Glide Accelerator program where 50 experts who wanted to become certified got accelerated through that process. And I know that even my wife joined that, and now my wife is fully Glide certified. 34% of all of Glide's revenue has an expert involved in the process. When we look at all of our customer base and who's purchasing Glide, 34% of revenue is attributed to teams that have an expert on the team. So experts, thank you so much for making Glide customers more successful than ever. We've also seen that customers who work with an expert expand to more use cases and more utilization of Glide and are among the most successful on the platform. So to all of our customers out there, if you want to get the most out of Glide, hire an expert, get them on your team, and book a call. And because of this great partnership and the success we saw this year, we won the Academy Award of SaaS partnership programs. We won Up and Coming Partner Program of the Year by PartnerStack. So round of applause to everyone on all sides of this equation, to our customers who hired experts, to our experts who made our customers successful, to the Glide team who created this incredible program. Well done, everybody. What are some examples of experts succeeding? Let me move my head over here. We saw an expert build over 15 custom solutions for an office refurbishment firm, and they drove a deal size of almost $25,000. We saw another expert build a client portal for an advertising agency, driving a deal size of $20K. And then bread and butter use case for Glide equipment management for an energy company, also driving an enterprise size deal. So I just wanted to show the breadth of solutions that experts are building and how valuable these solutions are to the businesses that are hiring experts to help build. Now, I want to do an overview of what we accomplished in the last year and where we're going next. We use this moment at the end of the year to sort of reflect on, how did our year go? Did we follow through with the plan that we announced in the year before? What was different? What have we updated about our strategy, and where are we going next? So going back to the origin of Glide, this is an image from a pitch that I did when Glide was just 3 months old. We were talking about this term dark apps. Dark apps are internal apps created by a business that never go to the app store. These are apps for internal use. And we moved away from this term dark app to the term apps for work. But I just wanted to underscore that this consistent thread of trying to be the de facto software platform for businesses building custom internal apps. And the first examples I gave of this were an app for the Jacksonville Jaguars for their scouting team to keep track of prospects, and an app made by Bounty Fresh to track their growth of millions of chickens. These apps never go to an app store, but they are critical apps for improving the operations of businesses that build custom software like these. And over the next few years, we expanded our platform to offer this complete no-code solution. We wanted everything all together, all integrated in one place. Everything a business needs to build dark apps, to build these custom solutions to drive their business forward. We weren't happy with the status quo of assembling a potpourri of no-code tools. I keep my data in this tool, I have automations in that tool, and I make a UI in another tool. That's a nightmare. That's a nightmare for your customers. That's a nightmare for a business that's trying to manage these solutions. Oh, you want to work on our inventory management solution? Here's your 3 or 4 logins for the different tools that are all connected to each other to make it work. We thought that was a bad situation. We wanted to raise the bar. So to do that, we had to build these 3 pillars of data, layout, and workflows. And sometimes I will say data, interface, and automation. Those are all the 3 same pillars. For data, we started with spreadsheets. I'll talk about how we grew up from spreadsheets. For layout, we started with mobile because businesses had never really achieved success building mobile apps and mobile interfaces. And for workflows, we started with simple actions, and we've made a lot of progress in the last year on that. I'd like to summarize. So we started with spreadsheets because that's where businesses have their data and that's where they build out their new processes. And we started with Google Sheets, but now we support hundreds of sources. We support the standard spreadsheet class sources, we support popular databases, and through our new import APIs, we can connect to other sources of business data. We started with mobile apps. It was an easy place to start because of the design constraints. It's so much simpler to design a mobile app. But we evolved into an adaptive app platform where you just create your app once, but you get support for mobile, desktop, tablet, web. This took a lot of innovation by our design and engineering teams to make this just work implicitly. You don't pick responsive breakpoints. You don't make decisions about how your software works on mobile versus desktop. You just describe your app at a high level, and Glide figures out these platform and device-specific details. And for automations, we started with simple buttons on a screen that you could tap that would take a single action. We expanded that to let a button take multiple actions in a row. And now we've developed a complete workflow solution that not only can take actions initiated by users in apps, but it can run actions on a schedule. It can run actions in response to external events via webhooks or events like a Slack message received in a channel. And it can even receive emails directly and process their attachments. These are sort of the essential building blocks of custom business software. So we powered up in 2024. What did we say we were going to do just in the last year? So at this event last year, I said the themes for 2024, improving app experience and speed, AI-enabled data sources, which is kind of a researchy idea at that time, and we were going to bring you advanced actions. So for app experience and speed, we started the year by another investment in Glide AI, upgrading the models to the state of the art, bringing down prices, and adding new functionality like the ability to process documents, images, etc. A third of our revenue is produced by teams that are actively using the Glide AI integration. It is our most popular, fastest growing integration. We achieved SOC 2 Type 2 certification. This is essential as larger, more mature businesses with more stringent security requirements adopt Glide. This gives them clarity on our security standards. We refined our colors, typography, layout, and we introduced dark mode. Every year, we make tiny, almost subliminal improvements to Glide's managed design system so that your software looks as fresh as the day you created it. Most software just begins aging as soon as it's created. That's why old software looks old. It's because our eyes change. Our design standards change. That software looked great when it was created, and now it looks old and busted. We want your Glide apps to never become old and busted. So every year we make these tiny little refinements to the design system to keep it looking fresh and contemporary. We introduced new high-density data grids. As Glide is used for more demanding, data-intensive tasks, we had to upgrade our collections. So now we have a world-class table and data grid with as many columns as you need, and the columns include interactive controls like drop-downs, buttons, and checkboxes. This is now the centerpiece of basically every major Glide app is one of these collection views. And we just introduced them this year. On the AI-enabled data sources, we made significant upgrades to Glide Big Tables. It's not mentioned here, but we moved it to a new AI-enabled infrastructure where in the next year, we're going to be able to bring advanced features like asking a question about a very large table full of knowledge and getting a specific answer. These features aren't available yet, but we continue to make this infrastructure investment in Big Tables as our go-forward database layer. And we are bringing more and more capabilities to Big Tables that our users are accustomed to from Glide Tables because we want these eventually to converge. Big Tables and Glide Tables will just become Glide Tables in the long run. So we're making them more and more compatible with each other. And live updates was the major new feature that Big Tables got this year. Live updates means that if your data changes on the back end or a user in another app makes a change, maybe your sales team closes a big deal, you will instantly see those updates reflected on your app, your copy of that app. The screen will just update. You don't have to pull it to refresh or navigate or reload the app. That was a major unlock and unblock for our customers who are eager to get the scale advantage of Big Tables, but without sacrificing that liveness. We introduced, this is kind of a subtle one, but for all the experts on the call, you'll be very familiar with our new inline templating control. So we made it much easier to make templated text values in Glide where you can intermingle literal text values with dynamic column bindings when you're configuring values in actions and on screens. And we continue to refine this. It's a highly complex control. I think it has the most detail per surface area of any feature that we've built. There's so many nuances in getting this right, and we will bring this to more columns and controls throughout the next year. We also launched the AI custom component. So this has long been, customization has long been the white whale of low-code, no-code platforms like Glide. It's very hard without exposing your customers to all the nitty-gritty details of, for example, the web programming model, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. It's very hard to make customers successful who are non-technical. And it's also basically impossible to get them to achieve a result that's consistent with the other native components in the system. And we set this very high standard for the user experience quality of Glide apps, and we didn't want to lose that by adding a custom component control. But we were able to get the best of both worlds. We have a fully customizable custom component system now that's totally usable by non-technical users. They never access HTML, CSS, or JavaScript, and the components that are generated look as if the Glide design team designed them. because this AI system is heavily prompted and heavily trained on our design language and our design tokens. So you might say, oh, I want a slider. And this system knows that the specific focus attribute on the slider to get a native web slider to show the right accent color, it knows to involve that and to connect it with the token that represents the accent color of your Glide app. Which means that if your Glide app uses blue as its accent color, as you saw in the video, the slider will use blue as its accent color. And if you change the accent color of the app to purple, the slider will be a purple slider now. So that's just one example, but there are hundreds of design tokens in our design system that the AI custom component can use. And this component has been added, I don't have the precise number, but tens of thousands of apps have added the AI custom component. And most significantly this year, our most powerful advancement was, as I mentioned before, those advanced actions, I think we called them at the end of last year, but now we've called them officially workflows. This is launching on January 8th. It's available in public beta right now. But workflows are the logical continuation of what we started with custom actions. They let you create powerful back-end automations that can run across tables, relations, queries. They're powerful, high scale. They can deal with a lot of data, and they can be triggered on a schedule, via webhook, via a higher order event like a message in Slack, and even by receiving an email. That's my personal favorite trigger, is the email trigger. It lets you can create a workflow that starts when an email is sent to a particular address that we give to you. And when the workflow kicks off, that workflow has access to all of the metadata in that email, including the obvious things like who sent it, what the subject line was, and what the body is, but also has access to all the attachments in a first-class file list in Glide, where you can scan a document with AI to basically read the attachments that are sent to this email address. And we've just been having so much fun automating our customers' workflows with these new primitives in the platform. So what's next? That's what most people on this call just want to know. David, what is Glide doing next? So looking at the major epochs of the development of Glide, we started with something very narrow, mobile apps from Google Sheets in 5 minutes for free. We built out this platform and this expert ecosystem next. Data, interface, and automation are now 3 parts of our mature platform offering. And together with our experts, we built this award-winning expert and partner program to support our customers even further. What we've learned through building this powerful platform and this expert ecosystem is that what our customers really value about Glide is the customizability of their Glide solution, that they can iterate the solution as their business changes. They value this much more highly than the premise of creating from scratch any application on their own. Because it's very painful, even if you can hire a team of engineers, or even if you have engineers at your own company to build you the exact bespoke piece of custom software you need, changing that software basically feels impossible still. Adding a feature to a traditional piece of custom software, you're still looking at 6 months, tens if not hundreds of thousands of dollars for larger companies to turn new features around. But businesses are changing on a daily basis. Your schemas change, your customer requirements change, your processes are constantly evolving, and you need software that evolves with your company. So we provide that. We think that there's no platform that can iterate high quality software faster than Glide can. And that's why we see our customers grow out all these custom solutions. So based on that understanding of what is specifically valuable to our customers, we want to help them get started even more quickly with pre-built solutions that approximate what they need as quickly as possible. And then over time, they can adapt these as they learn more about their requirements and the capabilities of the software. So it's about starting really quickly with something great that can change over time versus starting with a blank canvas and having to come up with something on your own. And this is consistent with how customers evaluate Glide today. They browse the template store to understand what's possible, and they might start with a template. We just want to level this up and make it much easier to get started with Glide and move much more quickly, especially for larger companies. We're also noticing what is going on in the market and how demand is changing as AI becomes more capable and becomes more introduced to businesses. So basically every business in the world is asking how are they going to benefit from AI? And ChatGPT came out a couple years ago. we're wondering what the next form factor is after a chat box where your employees are just talking all day to an AI. And specifically companies that have these ad hoc processes that are very changeable, maybe there's pen and paper involved, there's lots of spreadsheets and phone calls involved, they're wondering how they can automate. And this is a venture capitalist reflecting on all of the work that happens in between software systems that's still very manual. That's a lot of the work that Glide and spreadsheets eat up. This is the next opportunity for automation. And there's a new class of automation that's making all of this possible. And many are calling, and we are calling it intelligent automation. And you can think of intelligent automation as just the combination of workflow automation and the flexible capabilities of these new AI systems. So for 2025, our focus is intelligent automation. And here's Jack to tell you more about what that means.
Every business has tons of inefficiencies that never quite get addressed. But today, most businesses know that they can solve this with AI, they just don't know how. AI agents are how you deploy AI practically in your teams. They do this by combining automation with AI. This lets them perform tasks that would previously have required human judgment, like extracting data, categorizing information, or processing documents. Even though agents are autonomous and intelligent, they're still tools used by people. In other words, humans still have oversight and control. They can just move much, much faster. So what kind of AI agents are there? Some agents are part of larger software platforms, helping users operate within those gated environments. And then others are more modular. They're point solutions that can be deployed flexibly wherever your team has bottlenecks. They connect to the tools that you're already using, so you don't need to overhaul your whole process to use them. Here are some examples of where you might deploy an AI agent. In sales, an agent will pull prospect information and draft new pitch emails for your sales team while they're on speaking with prospects. Then the sales team has more time to book calls, which translates directly to more opportunities for revenue. In HR, a hiring agent will pre-screen resumes, prioritizing them based on your job descriptions, so your hiring team can spend more time prepping and holding interviews. And in accounting, you can use an agent to process invoices directly into your accounting software without requiring any manual data entry. Agents are a new way of working with technology, one that augments human work with the speed and scale of intelligent automation. With this new technology or way of working, you can start looking at your processes and identifying where you can reduce time, manual labor, and find new opportunities for growth.
So where specifically are we seeing these automation opportunities? I'd like to share an example. So one of our customers, a longtime Glide customer, is a freight forwarder, and they get a request for a quote from a customer. They say, I need to ship something from Cape Town to London. How are you going to get it there and what's it going to cost? And their job is to assemble the links in this journey between ocean freight, rail, and trucks. Even some steamships are involved, I've learned. And get the best price for the customer while preserving the appropriate profit margin for the forwarder. And they said that these quotes involve looking through many spreadsheets, looking through a price list that they have to constantly keep updated, developing packets of documents to send, working with subcontractors to get sub bids on the different legs of the journey to assemble into the overall quote, and then getting that back, of course, to the client. And this can take 24 to 48 hours. And they said that they also have this information that the first quote back to a client has a 60% better chance of winning the customer. So there's a really strong incentive for them to return these quotes more quickly. What they're wondering is, can we take a 48-hour turnaround time on a quote and turn it around in 48 minutes or 48 seconds? Because if we can do that accurately, it could double our business. So we're working closely with them to figure out how we would package all of this together on top of the Glide apps they've currently built around their business, extending those with intelligent automation to pull off this feat. And it's feasible, and it's going to happen this year, and we're going to repeat it again and again and again. So when we look at themes for this year, we're going to improve the first experience of Glide. We spent 2 years deepening and rounding out the platform and making it more powerful, but we are always keeping in mind that new user. We want to make them more successful more quickly, and we want them to see the premise and the power of Glide. And starting just this week, our onboarding includes a new AI native builder experience that we call the Creator. And the creator talks to you as a Glide expert would. It asks you about your requirements and use cases. It doesn't ask you to tell it, I need a login form with a sign-in button at the bottom. You're not talking about the low-level components or functionality of your app. You're speaking to the creator, or you're interacting with it at the feature level, where you're talking about your requirements. And the creator works by looking at a curated set of templates and mixing and matching and rewriting high-level screens and features from those templates. So other AI systems that are gaining popularity today usually write code at a very low level. The creator goes top down, taking existing working applications, pulling out their features, rewriting their data, regenerating their images to look more recognizable to the customer, and giving you a high-level working app. We're also going to invest in platform reliability and safety. So we have customers who are using Glide for critical, business critical functions. And if Glide goes down, or if there's a bug, their business can stop. So we take really seriously this responsibility to our customers to keep Glide reliable, secure, moving quickly, and to improve the overall safety of our platform. And as I mentioned in the previous customer example, we're continuing our investment, which we started about 40 days ago. In 40 days, we've created 4 AI agents for operations. An AI agent is just a packaged Glide solution of data, interface, and automation that has remarkable AI capabilities to help you operate your company much more effectively and more efficiently. So we've built contract, invoice, and resume management agents. We've built an inspections agent. We're going to continue to build these, and we're working with our customers to understand how to adapt and apply them to their businesses. So 2025 is the year of intelligent automation, and these are the major themes that we are going to pursue in 2025. But I want to leave you with a small preview of what we think could come after that. We think that the new demands for humans to collaborate effectively with AI are going to create new types of software experiences and new form factors. And so far we've explored chatting with AIs. Now we're building agents, which in many cases take the form of like a back-end automation, sort of a decision tree. But when we look at what we're building for customers, how people will gradually introduce AI into their processes as they gain more trust of these systems, what's required to collaborate effectively with an AI, we think that all of these things will converge into a new form factor that's kind of like a Glide app that can use itself, or a Glide app with an autopilot functionality. So this is a preview of like just a standard Glide app, but there's this capability for the app to exercise and execute itself. You might call this an agentic app. It's a hybrid of an intelligent automation or a workflow automation and a user interface where a user and an AI can collaborate. And what you can see here is basically the premise is a user types in a task to accomplish, and then an agent takes over and uses the software. That's maybe where this would start, but eventually you would want these apps to autonomously represent and use themselves. So you might instruct this app, hey, when anything on the screen changes, you should act immediately. And maybe you can make a very narrow app that, for example, something we do at Glide is we respond to refund requests. If a customer wants to cancel their trial or they made the wrong purchase, we have a refund policy of up to 14 days. We could put all this together into an app that just shows the pending refund requests, and we construct the app, consult our policy, and either accept or deny with a reason a refund request from a customer. That right there, that saves just an hour or two a week, but we could come up with many examples of these tiny use cases that could be expressed as an internal app. And when combined with an agent that can use the app proactively and autonomously, you can get a lot of these efficiency gains. The example I gave of the customer with the freight forwarding, they could start by creating an app that lets them see incoming requests for bids and assemble the whole quote inside of a single app experience. And then you could train an agent to actually go through those same actions. You could speak out loud or give it written instructions about how you make decisions when you're using the software, and with the goal of eventually letting that system operate itself. So the key insight here is that if we're modeling agents as colleagues and we need to collaborate with them, maybe they will benefit from using computers in the same way that we benefit from using them, which is by having a user interface that it expresses the capabilities and constraints of a given task. So that's just for your consideration. I don't think you're going to see this productized in 2025, but we think that that's where all these things are converging. So I just want to say Happy New Year, happy holidays, everyone. Thank you for joining us for another incredible year. It's just our delight at Glide to work with you to build this incredible software and make all of our customers' businesses formidable and more effective. So again, thank you guys. Happy New Year, and I'll talk to you soon.
My goodness. Seeing a lot of really positive reactions in the chat. And the questions have just been flooding in. So why don't we just jump straight into those?
Sure.
Let's start off with some of the questions we got as part of registration, and then we'll get to the ones from the chat. So from Benoit, he asked, who is the ideal customer for Glide in 2025, and what are their ideal use cases?
I think we mentioned some of them in that presentation, so hopefully that answered it. But Hunter Douglas, manufacturing window dressings. BMC Switzerland, that's another customer I went on site with this year, manufacturing bikes and bike accessories. Health Aid manufactures their own bottles and manufactures kombucha. So the sort of manufacturing and the intersection of like manufacturing and operations use cases, inventory management, labor management, time and attendance, quality control and inspections. This is like I said, the bread and butter use cases and customer profiles for Glide.
Nice. Question here from Erwin. What's in store for Big Tables in 2025?
So a couple things coming for Big Tables. We have, I believe it's still in beta right now, but we have this bulk API, which lets you import millions of rows of data into Big Tables and optimizes for performance and expense. We actually there's this internal operation that we call the switcheroo, which lets you can import like 10 million rows, and then we do this atomic switcheroo operation so that like the users of the app don't see like data deleting and coming back in. So that's going to be rolling out. That's been really useful for our customers who want to bring like all of their contacts from Salesforce into Glide, for example. We made this major investment in our new sort of foundational database hosting layer to add these AI capabilities. So right now, these are experimental and we're just starting to prototype, but we imagine we'll bring things like retrieval augmented generation into Glide so that if you're using a Glide AI feature, it can also consult a large corpus of knowledge about your business. For example, you might search through a few thousand pages of manuals for equipment in your business to find a relevant section to include into a prompt to formulate an email or a response to an app user. And overall, we really want to erase this distinction between Glide tables and Big Tables, so they just become Glide tables again. So you'll see Big Tables become more prominent. When we updated our pricing 6 weeks ago, every single plan, including free, has access to Big Tables now. It'll slowly become the default, and then eventually the two will merge.
On that note, question here from Ian: will workflows and actions get faster and more stable in 2025?
Yeah. So I think workflows have already been sped up maybe 3x during the beta. So yes, stability in this beta period and continuing into the public release after January 8th, we'll continue to make progress on performance. I think that each step in a workflow was taking on maybe a second or two. And we recently started like our optimization phase. And the tricky thing about Glide workflows and why they take some time is like passing the data and computation context through the workflow. That's one of the things that's, everyone's used a workflow automation tool before, but Glide's workflow steps have so much more access to data and compute that there's like a lot of machinery for coordinating all of that, but we've already made some really important optimizations there. So for example, like steps that are merely computations can be kind of short-circuited and run more quickly without getting a lot of like setup and teardown. But those, they will continue to become faster.
Nice. All right, let's switch over to some of these attendee questions here. A lot of interest in this one from Brent. Are we going to be looking into device notifications since the push action was discontinued?
Yeah, we're really frustrated with the status of push notifications for progressive web apps and Glide apps. That's just been a constant uphill battle, and we had to we had to put push notifications back into a beta status, and we had to take them down completely recently. So we're always going to stay attuned to that, but we've just been suffering from poor across the board support from the mobile OS and OEMs on this. But we do view push notifications as extremely valuable to our customers, so we're going to stay on top of it and try to figure out a way to continue offering it. But for right now, you're best served by SMS, email notifications, and sort of in-app notification centers.
And I got to say, one of the nice things about what we've done with workflows, being able to integrate, we have this open API, we have these new capabilities, the ability to integrate with other tools that handle notifications. So if you want to do SMS and these other things, you do have options.
There are a lot of good options.
Question here from Andres. A lot of business operations run on dashboards and data analysis in general. Are there any plans to enhance Glide's current capabilities for things like BI?
Yeah, I do think, to be frank, I think Glide's charts are one of the weakest parts of the platform still. They're really easy for simple use cases, but Glide is still far from like a full-blown business intelligence solution. I don't have any specific plans to share about improving charts, but overall, I would characterize the progress we've made on interfaces and collections as basically feature complete at this point, except for charts. So if we are going to make like a major investment in net new interface functionality this year, it would most likely focus on charts because we think we've reached a state of maturity with the collection components and sort of the general visual components, and now with the custom component.
Brilliant. All right, another question here from Brent. Are we going to implement branching and standard workflows like what we have in the scheduled workflows?
Yes, we do plan. This has kind of become a pattern again, where we make like an early version of a system and then we make like a much better one, and they like both coexist for a little while. So you've got, Glide tables and then big tables. Then you have like the action editor and the workflow editor, classic apps and new apps. We are building plans and a roadmap for all of these things to get cleaned up and get consolidated. But yeah, we do plan to move the client-side actions, the in-app triggered actions, onto the new workflow editor. They have been built with a compatible schema since the first line of code, so they are compatible with each other. But there's some subtleties we have to reason through. Looping, for example, will probably not be accessible on the client because client-side actions have sort of time and memory constraints that we don't have on back-end workflows. We have to be careful. If you start an action that on a mobile phone that's going to take many minutes, and the user backgrounds the app, or the device deprioritizes the app because of memory usage or something like that, there's like a lot of opportunities for error there. So there are a few considerations about performance, but conditional branching and complex branching and some of the additional control flow stuff that we'll bring to workflows will make their way to client-side actions.
Nice. All right. Time for just a couple more here. From Curtis, are there any plans to add features to the new table collection that were originally previewed before launch? So things like multiple row select, the floating action bar, some of these things we were exploring early on.
No, there's not plans for that. I just literally mean like we're not planning to invest in a table collection this year. It doesn't mean that we won't get to those things, but that's not a priority. The focus for 2025 is intelligent automation, which is like continuing our focus with AI and deepening what you can do in workflows. The kind of new functionality that we're just prototyping right now along those lines, just to give you an example, would be human in the loop approvals and control flow within workflows. So that you're running a workflow and then there's a step that can like email someone and wait for them to reply before proceeding, or can send them a message in Slack or Microsoft Teams where they have to approve a time off request and it sort of waits for them. So that kind of functionality, intelligent automation functionality, is the main focus of our team. And we're a pretty small engineering team. Our engineering team's around 20 people. It's running a platform. Glide, I like to say, includes like at least 7 or 8 startups worth of technology because we've got an app building interface. We've got like a design system for the app front end. We host the entire service from the database to the DDoS protection layer all the way on the edge to the automation workflow engine. So there's definitely like a large investment that we have to do in like maintaining that, improving its security and its performance. And then out of that budget comes like net new feature functionality. So when we say what our focus is for a year, we really do mean that it will be a focus and it will get most of our attention.
All right, we've got a ton of questions still piling in. We're not going to be able to get to all of them. I can grab one more here. Aside from that, we have tracked all the questions. We'll bring these back to the team, get them into the community for follow-up. So don't worry. I see the questions here. We will get to them. But the last one for this call, because we have so many experts on this call, a question here about where do experts fit in alongside this vision of packaged Glide solutions, AI agents. What does that mean for experts?
Well, you can see that our customers are most successful when they partner with experts. So we view experts as just this key ingredient of helping our customers get started with Glide and adopt it more deeply. Our ambition for Glide is we want to be like the operating system for all of the companies that we mentioned. We want them to not have a single app. In fact, when we show a customer slide, in the case of Illy, I feel anxious when we just see that they have one app. I'm not satisfied until a company is running 15 or more apps. I think experts are the key partners in helping their clients think about, hey, these are the new abilities that Glide has introduced. I'm familiar with your business, and these are my recommendations for how you can take advantage of this. And I think experts are going to be needed more than ever as businesses learn for the first time how they're going to automate things they could never automate in principle before, now that they have these AI capabilities. So I would say one thing I'm excited about inside Glide is I feel like we're kind of a laboratory that gets to consult with thousands of customers and learn how they're applying intelligent automation, bring that all together into a center of expertise so that any individual customer can benefit from everything that we've learned together. And experts, you're like the field representation of that. So I think, at the bare minimum, you've gotten Glide certified, you know how to use the data editor. Like that is really valuable, but I'm most excited for this next frontier of learning together how we take AI to work. That is the thing that is like just so urgent for all of our customers. And just a tip to experts, when we talk to our customers about how AI is going to help them automate their business, they immediately tell us about the most critical business functions that they're trying to accelerate. We didn't have conversations like this at this level of criticality and getting to the core of their business, where we're just talking about, do you want a mobile app? Do you want an interface on top of a spreadsheet? That's a little bit up in the air, not very concrete. But if you haven't experienced this yet, once you bring this theme of intelligent automation to your clients, buckle up, because you're going to get a major download on the real treasure, like the real mechanisms of their business that they want to accelerate. So that's what we're focused on, and we think experts are really important partners for learning that and helping our customers through this unprecedented transition to intelligent automation.
And I think that is a wonderful place to leave off. Thank you, David, as always, for putting that deck together for us, for sticking around for the Q&A. This has been amazing. For everybody on the call, thank you for joining us. We have more Glide events coming your way. Head over to glideapps.com/events. You'll find the full recording of this. Transcript will be posted, recap, slides, all that fun stuff. You can also find recaps and everything of our past events and see any upcoming events we have on the calendar. And little teaser, we have a lot coming next year. So thank you for gliding with us through 2024. And we'll see you in the new year. Cheers. Happy holidays.